G'day mates, in today's video I'm going to talk about all the big names who did and didn't qualify straight through to grand finals from our first round of FNCS. Not only that, we had sparks flying today, we had Mero and Bugha saying that if they did not qualify, they would quit playing for the rest of FNCS because of how many issues they have with Epic Games right now. The game is so broken, Mero is going as far as to say he will not play the rest of FNCS if he does not qualify. We also had similar issues happening to Clix not loading into Game 6 after having a very unfortunate tournament, having a new team drop on him that wasn't dropping at the start of the tournament, which is always going to cause a bunch of drama. I also want to talk about why certain teams are deliberately throwing their qualification, not wanting to qualify straight through to grand finals, as well as Epic's new stance of teams and their names when it comes into the broadcast. So there's a lot to talk about. Let's just jump into it. Kicking off with NAE, we started with a bang, and remember, any team who comes top 5 in these round 4 qualifiers are going straight through to grand final. So that's what's most important, top 5. And Mero and Bugha did not load into their first game. Bugha did, Mero didn't. He went in as a solo. Now, Mero took to social media. He's since deleted these tweets, and normally I don't talk about deleted tweets, but in this case, I think I need to. Mero went on social media, he at Hogman, he added Epic Games, did the usual stuff, freaked out, he was very upset, but he went so far as to say, if we do not qualify in this qualifier, on my mother's life, we will not play next week's qualifier. So what that means, if Mero and Bugha didn't place top 5 today, they were not going to play the rest of FNCS because Mero is sick and tired of all the issues with Fortnite. And I know what a lot of people are going to say, oh, Mero's being a baby, lots of people don't connect, but that's the point. Game 1 started with only 90 players, 10 people did not connect, and it wasn't because of PC issues on their end, it wasn't because of internet issues, it's a bug in Fortnite right now that a lot of the time players load in as a solo and their duo doesn't load in with them. There was only 2 games today that I saw out of the 12 games of NA East and EU combined where every single player loaded in. 2 games out of 12. It is a big issue right now, and I really like that Mero took a stand. Yes, he went a little bit overboard, he freaked out a little bit on Twitter, he was a bit more aggressive than what he maybe should have been, but it's frustrating, man. These guys are playing for shares of hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars, and there's a bug in the game that just lets them just not connect for no fault of their own. So I do like that Mero spoke up. They did end up qualifying, so I guess it's not really as much of an issue, but I found that interesting that Mero was at that point where he's so fed up that he's willing to not play the rest of FNCS. Whether he actually wouldn't play it, but I don't know. When you say on mother's life, to me that still means something. But we'll run the rest of the leaderboard. We had Quanti and Polarized coming in first on 186 points, a ridiculous performance. Now, if you guys don't know, on my stream I run a Fortnite predictions game where I give away $150 every single set lobby finals. I have all my viewers or anyone who wants to go in and predict who places top 10 on NA, and whoever's the closest wins. We only had 3 of 2,000 people. Over 2,000 people predicted, and only 3 of them predicted that Quanti and Polarized would come in first. They were big underdogs coming into this one. Polarized has some of the craziest fighting mechs on NA. If you've watched his videos, he is an absolute demon, but set lobbies is where he normally struggles. But today was very different. Paired up with Quanti, their match history was insane. 4 Elim 4th, 4 Elim 6th, 4 Elim 9th, 4 Elim 5th, 3 Elim 3rd. So going into Game 6, they had not placed outside the top 10 a single time with eliminations to boot. And last game, their worst game, a 1 Elim 13th, which is still a very good game. They were by far the best team on the day. They played so well today and surprised a lot of people, including myself. Now, second place is a name that no one's surprised to see. Almost everyone predicted them in their top 10 or even to win it. Aegis and Kanata coming in second on 169 points. They kicked off the tournament with 2 back-to-back wins. A 6 Elim win and a 9 Elim win to kick off the finals. Now remember, Aegis and Kanata are also coming off the back of back-to-back duo Cash Cup wins. They won the last 2 duo Cash Cup finals in a row. So coming into this one, they were on a hot streak. They then went on to get a 0 Elim 11th, a 6 Elim 3rd, and then unfortunately it was their last 2 games. They fell off the pace a little bit, and that's what put them in second. But hey, top 5's top 5. They're qualified. They're going straight through to grand, surprising no one, and they are one of the favorites now going into grand finals. A lot of people have pegged them to win it as an early winner. Then we had Mero and Bugha in third, like I already talked about. We had Scented and Cold in fourth on 161, and then Death and now Frog on bench, which is Tabney. We had Death and Tabney take out the fifth spot on a tie break. Death and Tabney won the tie break because they won the last game. A 10 elim win in game 6 is how they were able to clutch up. They went up against Cold and Sense at the very end. They ended up winning that, and because of the extra points and the win, they went on to just knock out Acorn and Edgy, who also had 152 points. Super unfortunate to see for Acorn and Edgy. They played really, really well, but a solid top 5, and honestly, I would say at least 4 of those teams were 100% in my top 5 prediction. The only one I didn't predict was the winner, which was Quanti and Polarized. We also had Giamper and Iomzo just miss out, Tahi and Bank, Except and Snake, Cooper and Nani. Cooper and Nani were actually in second place. They had a 5 elim second and a 4 elim third in their first 2 games, unfortunately falling off the pace after that until they tried to bring it back with their last game, but it was just a little bit too late, a little too late. If you scroll down the list, you are noticing there is no big names like Clix and Dukes. You maybe saw how the fireworks flew for Clix and Dukes. So they were uncontested at the start of the tournament. They started getting contested midway through. A whole bunch of beef, a whole bunch of drama started going down the timeline. You guys know me, I don't like beef, I don't like drama on the timeline like that, but Clix was really down in the dumps, had a really unfortunate tournament so far. Game 6, he went live, ready to turn it around, and he didn't connect. Exactly the same issue as Mero. No PC issue, no internet issue, which Clix is obviously very common for having, but game 6, he just didn't connect. Same issue as Mero. It was super unfortunate to see. Obviously, Clix was super devastated, super upset. They did not qualify, but if there's any silver lining here, at least that means Clix is now going to be making more content for Qualifier 2 and potentially Qualifier 3. I'm sure with how they perform, they will be able to make it to Grands, even if it comes down to semis. A lot of Clix's issues with Storm Surge did not seem to be an issue when he was playing with Dukes. They did have a couple other issues that I'm sure they'll fix up, but Surge was not one of them, and they were looking really solid. So it was an unfortunate way for Clix and Dukes' tournament to go, but we did have some other big favorites still struggle. It's not like it was only Clix and Dukes. It was a very, very tough tournament on NA. Moving on to EU, far less drama, but some really, really good games. We had absolutely no surprise here. Tayson and Chapix take out the first spot on 201 points, getting 6 matches played and 1 win. They had an insane match history, finishing off the last game with an 11 elim win to really cement their place on top right now. And anytime you're coming into FNCS, Tayson is always going to be a favorite. So it was really awesome to see them kick off and back up a lot of people's faith. We had Trulex and Chico take out the second spot on 187, 6 matches played, no wins, but really, really consistent match history from them as well. A 0 elim 19th being their only game outside top 10, so they played absolutely phenomenally. Third place, we had Queasy and Vino, or as he was referred to on the broadcast, Queasy and Joe's dog. We're going to get to that in a second, how Epic is changing how they're doing their broadcast. 173 points for them, really, really solid. Unfortunately, it was their last game where things came unstuck, a 0 elim 35th. Until that, they were in first place, and I had full confidence they were going to close out the day in first place. Just unfortunately went down there right at the very end. And fourth place, by far the most insane performance of the day, Malabuka and Mustache. And the reason it's so insane is the match history. 3 elim 30th, 1 elim 26th, 0 elim 49th, and then just like they did last season, Malabuka and Mustache turned it up. 15 elim win, 6 elim win, and then an 8 elim second. They almost did exactly what they did last season. If you guys remember, last season they were way down the leaderboard, and then in the last 3 games they got 3 wins in a row to clutch up the qualification. That is insane. The fact that they got second in the last game, just messing that up. To be known as the Malabuka Mustache Classic from now on in my books is basically being bottom of the leaderboard and then somehow coming back with the most ridiculous finish to a tournament ever. Do you know how hard it is to win 3 games in a row in this caliber of a lobby? This is qualifier 1, so all the best teams are still playing. We haven't had, like, you know, 10 of the best teams already go through and people are going to argue the lobbies are worse. This was qualifier 1. This team is looking absolutely ridiculous as always. Then we had Cheatin and Gripey finish it out in 5th place on 166, just beating out Usury and Kiddo on 163. So only 2 eliminations difference between 5th and 6th. Both teams played absolutely phenomenally. Then it was a big drop down before Bevies and Vortexes. Now, I know you guys keep asking in the comments, and I don't want to make this video too negative. I'm not going to go into too much details. How was the game looking? How are the servers looking? not too fantastic. There were a lot of those issues, a lot of those clips I've been posting. It looks like Epic still hasn't been able to figure out an issue with the server. If you go to like the Twitch Fortnite main channel while they're streaming, all you can see in the comments is just people complaining about the servers. Every end game when people are teleporting around, people are freaking out. Unfortunately, it hasn't got much better, but I watched all the games today. I still had a really good day watching the tournaments. I don't want to just keep harping on the same point you've heard before. The servers are struggling. I hope they get better. I did want to talk about a similar trend we're seeing in some of the smaller regions where really good teams, really big names like Reet, Epic, Whale, Volx, and Looter somehow, for whatever reason, have really, really bad game sixes. And if you don't know what I'm referring to, both Reet, Epic, Whale, Volx, and Looter, and a few other teams on the smaller regions choosing to not play to the best capability in game 6, just W keying or messing around or having fun because they deliberately don't want to qualify. And again, it shows that there might be some issues with the format that need to be reworked, but also shows the insane level of confidence that these teams have going into finals. They're that confident that they will at least get top 5 in the next 2 qualifiers, or they'll make it through semifinals. It's a compliment to the fact that the format right now is very, very good at getting the best teams into finals, because worst comes to worst, you go through to semifinals, you just need to win one of 17 games or come top 6, which those teams definitely will. But it also does show there's some issues that maybe the qualifiers need to be reworked to make sure the teams, especially in the smaller regions, are trying their hardest until the very end, whether that's prize pool or something else. It's interesting to see though, and I wanted to make sure I included that because if you're looking at the smaller regions, you'll notice some of the really big names didn't qualify, and there's a reason for it. I wanted to finish off by talking about Epic taking a stance against pros who are changing their names constantly. We even had Shia, one of the official casters, come out and make a tweet saying, change your name to what you want to be called on broadcast/interviews. We're no longer translating names while casting, and it's going to follow your story/legacy into international. He means the FNCS Invitational. Don't want the world to see animal on object when it can matter so much for your brand. So what he means by this is we've had Fortnite pros change their names a lot in the past, and quite often it's something as simple as adding fishy to the end of their name or something like that, but sometimes they go so far as to change their name completely and you have no idea who they are. I can figure out who Rezon Fishy is, but right now we have this new wave where we had, for example, Vino changing his name to Joe's Dog, and today on the broadcast the casters referred to him all day as Joe's Dog. They did not say it was Vino. Even though they knew it was Vino, they're sticking to Joe's Dog. On my stream, I'm still going to call pros by their name because it's just easier. Otherwise I have my whole chat spamming who they are, and I can remember who they are, but I fully get why the casters are taking a stance on this. It is terrible for their branding. I'm surprised orgs don't have an issue with this, because I know they signed the players, and like for example, today it was Tundra Joe's Dog, so they still have Tundra in his name, but they signed Tundra Vino. They signed the FNCS champion. They want to get the recognition for that, not Tundra Joe's Dog. So I'm surprised it's taken Epic to start doing this rather than just having the orgs themselves pull the players in. But then obviously if the players aren't signed, they can change their name to whatever they want. But I wonder how far this will go with Epic, because this could start a weird precedent where they can start changing their names to some weird and wacky things. For example, NA right now, we have a whole bunch of dog on bench, cat on bench, lizard on bench, and it's frustrating. It's annoying trying to follow them. So it's interesting to see Epic taking a stance. I want to know your guys' thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think Epic should be doing this? Do you think they should go further? Do you think they should maybe lock these pros into having their name? It looks like we have pros taking suit and following. We now have Chapix for the first time in I don't even know how long changing his name from Uguay to Chapix because he wants to be referred to on the broadcast as Chapix, not Uguay. So it looks like it's working. I wonder how far Epic's going to take this. If people start making their names really, really weird, are they really going to say the entire name? I don't know, but I thought I'd at least mention it because it was pretty funny. Alright guys, that does it for another video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please chuck a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.